So welcome to the CSAT orientation. Yes, so I'm Anika Gupta and I'll be taking your classes. Now, before we begin, how many of you have a rough idea about CSAT? You've attempted any paper? How many of you have? Yes, I'm assuming most of us know what CSAT is. We've seen the paper. Yes. So, the agenda for today is to understand CSAT, a rough pedagogy of what we will be following, and based on that, how the classes how do we approach CSAT for 2026. So a quick overview. CSAT, as we know, is divided into 3 sections. Logical reasoning, which is reasoning, analytical ability, quantitative aptitude or maths, as well as reading comprehension or verbal ability. There is a total of 80 questions, which means for every right question, we get 2.5 marks. And for every negative, there is 1/3 negative, which converts into 0.833 negative. Now, the problem with CSAT is that the answer key varies across institutes. The answers for UPSC varies. If you have to score, it is a qualifying paper where we need only 1/3 of 250 to qualify, 33% marks, which means we need 27 correct with no negative marking. Assuming 100% accuracy in the subject, in the paper, we need only 27 correct questions. But the questions are divided equally across different sections. So it becomes difficult. Of course, we don't have 100% accuracy. Even when we have, let's say we have 100% accuracy, we marked 30 questions, assuming 70 to cross ho hi jayega. And we mark 70, we mark questions in a way, we total and we say 70 to ho jayega. But UPSC answer keys comes, it has decided to remove that one question. You will not qualify. The answer key is subjective. Yes, from you try to calculate your marks from different institutes. Your marks range vary from 65 to 85. Because every time you get a wrong question, it is 0.833 negative, but you're also losing 2.5. You're also losing 2.5 marks. So if one answer key had a question right versus the other, you're losing more than 3.5 marks, almost 3.5. And this for 3 questions translates into more than 10 marks. You get 6 questions different, 20 marks. So marks will vary a lot across different answer keys, and this is why there's a lot of uncertainty. If we attempt a paper thinking कि accuracy अच्छी है मेरी तो बड़े अच्छे नंबर आते थे mock test में, let me attempt 10 questions just instead of 27, let me attempt 30 questions. 3 extra करे हैं, 3 गलत होंगे, फिर भी I'm going to qualify. So there is a very high chance that this is very, very playing with fire. Because the outcome of CSAT is direct disqualification, which will cost you an entire attempt, which will cost you your year. Therefore, it's going to be important that we choose our questions wisely. We need 27 right, but we attempt more than 50 questions. So that even after negative, we reach 50 correct. We reach the qualifying marks. So UPSC in its notification also gives us a syllabus and few things about the exam. So the UPSC says that this is a qualifying marks fixed at 33%. Qualifying marks. A candidate will be disqualified in case he or she does not appear in both the papers of civil services. So you have to appear in CSAT. Questions are multiple choice objective, and we have 1/3 penalty, which is equal to minus 0.833. We have minus 0.833 penalty. This is the syllabus which UPSC has given in its notification. So there were 6 sections which UPSC identifies broadly: comprehension or the verbal ability, Then it says general mental ability, which has the questions from general mental ability have increased in the last few years. Data interpretation, charts, graphs, tables, data sufficiency, etc. Up to the level of class 10th. But then again, class 10 level hai kya bada dicey hai. We don't know what is class 10 level because the difficulty of questions is itself increasing. Then we have interpersonal skills, questions not asked from interpersonal skills. Logical reasoning. So broadly 3 sections: comprehension, quant, and logical reasoning. Quant also includes basic numeracy, numbers and their relations, orders of magnitude, etc. Class 10 level. Lots of questions in the last few years are from this section. Decision making and problem solving was a part of our syllabus, but since 2013, the questions have not been asked. UPSC just did not decided not to change its syllabus. Continues to be in the syllabus, but no question. So CSAT was introduced in 2011 under the new pattern. CSAT was introduced in 2011. Earlier, there were more questions from comprehension. More questions from comprehension. We can see 37 questions, which has now in a way stabilized at around 27, 28 questions. But you will see that the quant has increased considerably. 38, 40 questions, almost 50% paper is quant. 50% paper is quant, and then a lot of us feel कि maths अच्छी नहीं है, मेरी maths weak है. English अच्छी है, तो paper clear हो जाएगा. But we needed 27 correct questions with high accuracy, 100% accuracy. So if we depend only on English, it's tough. If we say it's a combination of 2 sections, the number of questions vary. And you may have very easy questions from the 3rd section. So ideally, we cannot leave any section. You will have to do all 3 sections to at least make sure that the low-hanging fruits, the basic questions are being solved. Yes? And again, maximum questions over the last few years, as you can see, 36, 38, 39. Since 2021, there has been an increased focus on quantitative aptitude, on maths. We say that the paper became difficult in 2023 क्योंकि suddenly reasoning कम हो गई and maths बढ़ गया. So you will see that the paper has become difficult because reasoning has been declining. Reasoning declined from 16 questions to only 11 questions. So those who were banking, for those people who were banking on leaving quantitative aptitude, suddenly had more questions from quantitative aptitude. Last year, the pattern changed again. This year, 2025, we again say that the paper is very difficult. Why? Because questions were lengthier. We'll take a look at those questions together. But 2011, when CSAT was introduced, the questions were still moderate. But then in 2013, decision-making was taken away. 2015, paper became qualifying. So it is in 15 when the paper became qualifying. With qualifying paper, the questions became easier. कि अब qualifying है, 66.66 marks चाहिए, but within that, everyone started ignoring it. It was easy to ignore. As CSAT began to be ignored, it became an elimination exam again. And now the difficulty has constantly been increasing. Why is it increasing and how? Because the maths is now higher level. As I said, 10th level maths kya hai? Is very difficult to categorize. It's subjective. The data interpretation became tricky. Reasoning became lengthier. Reading comprehension became lengthier. So CSAT became slightly more challenging. But at the same time, we see in 2025, there were no questions that were being asked from a very, expected and probable areas like permutation, combination, probability. No question. There were more questions from number system and traditional topics, traditional school mathematics, basic maths, traditional topics. There were more, due to which we found the paper tough. Those who were banking on English, the comprehensions became bigger and the options were closer. So English के लिए भी मुश्किल हो गया, रीजनिंग के लिए मुश्किल था बिकॉज रीजनिंग के क्वेश्चंस कम हो गए, मैथ्स के लिए मुश्किल हो गया बिकॉज द एक्सपेक्टेड एरियाज such as permutation, combination, probability, they just went out of the window. They were also removed. So this is why the paper is very dynamic and we have to work on all three subjects. Now we'll take a look at the changing pattern of questions and the questions that were asked over the years from one to the other. Quantitative aptitude. As I said, 2015 easier. After 2020 tougher. So 2015, basic question. A train 120 meters long passes a man running at 6 kilometers per hour in 10 seconds. Find the speed of the train. I hope you can see that. It is a simple formula, speed equal to distance upon time. ये formula लगाया और हमको speed of the train आ जाएगा. Yes? But in 2022, if 30% of a company's employees are women, and 40% of the women earn more than 50,000 per month, while 20% of the men earn more than 50,000 per month, what is the percentage of employees earning more than 50,000 per month? You know, there's a lot of 50,000 per month. Men are earning, women are earning. What's happening? So it's a little on the tougher side, at least difficult to interpret and make a Venn diagram. Yes? So the questions have become longer and they require more interpretation. Similarly, look at question from reasoning. 2013, simple question. 4 friends, A, B, C, and D are sitting in a row facing north. 4 friends, A, B, C, and D are sitting in a row facing north. A is to the right of B, but left of C. So, A is to the right of B, but left of C. D is to the right of C, who is sitting at the extreme right. Do you want to take a moment and find the answer? Please. A, B, C, and D, 4 friends, are sitting in a row. Let's see. And then we'll see the next question also. Direct, easy question. You just had to write A, B, C, and D and C, left, right. Yes? And if you know your own directions, left and right, it's easier to solve. A, B, C, and D. What's the answer? B for ball. B. Your answer? D. Anyone else? D. Okay, we have D as well as B. See, one of them is wrong. So do not hesitate from giving your answer. Sorry? D. How many of you said D? D for Delhi? Most of us. What's your answer? Very close options. So answer is D. Yes? So it was a direct question. A is to the right of B. So if this is B, right and left. A is to the right of B. A is to the right of B, but left of C. This means C is over here. And D is to the right of C. D is further to the right of C. Now, who is sitting at the extreme right? Who is sitting to the extreme right? D. Yes? It was a simple question where if you knew your left and right, you would be able to solve it. Otherwise, you just assume एक direction left है, उसी को left and right assume करके we could solve it. Yes? But in 2023, a bar chart showing imports and exports over 5 years. Question asks percentage increase in a given year or ratio of export to import. Calculations. Understanding was trickier and bigger questions. Due to which the passing percentage from CSAT has been reducing. CSAT is becoming a challenge. Let's take a look at comprehension. How is comprehension changing? There was a passage in 2012 on environmental sustainability with a direct question. What is the central idea? Simple. What is the central idea conveyed? So very very wide options, very easy to say कि central idea क्या होगा. But you look at 2021, the question changes and it becomes, according to the author, which of the following best explains the impact of reforms? Now you had to understand the passage and tell what is the best impact of reforms. So you had to interpret, understand the passage, and then pick an option despite the fact that all options were very close to each other. Very close to each other, difficult to eliminate. This is also one reason why the subjectivity in marks of CSAT is so high. This is why marks are varying between different answer keys. Okay. So I hope we looked at different questions and we saw how CSAT is becoming tougher. This also tells us that why CSAT is important. CSAT is supposed to be a qualifying exam. And then we say that since it is only qualifying, we will not give it enough time. We will probably give it 1 hour of practice in the end. We will prepare it in the last 1 month. We know CSAT is a challenge for us, but we say it is only qualifying. So we prepare in the last 1 month. The outcome is disqualification for CSAT, but we still ignore it. We have insufficient practice, many reasons. Insufficient practice. We approach the CSAT with a bias. Maths weak hai, CSAT to hoga nahi. And something which we already find challenging, like maths, is struggling. We find it very difficult to sit down and solve it. Whereas this is also the reason why CSAT continues to be a problem. If we are weak in a subject, UPSC ensures that you put your effort on it and only then we qualify. Then we also feel कि shortcut लेना है ना, अभी तो qualifying है तो पूरा तो पढ़ेंगे नहीं. So an easy way, we'll solve PYQs and then we'll go to the exam. Paper तो हो ही जाएगा, मतलब 80 questions. How tough can it be to get 27 right? But the problem is that out of these 80 questions, you solve your PYQs, but every question has parts and subparts, subtopics. अभी blood relations में क्या आ रहा है? What were the core? If your core ideas are not clear, core concepts are not clear, we won't be able to solve because it requires interpretation, understanding, conceptual clarity. Just like GS, CSAT has also moved from formulas, mere formula application, to more concepts. Yes, so we will say कि PYQ करेंगे उससे हो जाएगा. Then our strategies itself, as I said, we prepare for 70 marks. I've seen students who came out of the exam hall, they said कि CSAT 70 हो रहे थे तो we sat idle for half an hour. We sat idle for half an hour कि 70 marks तो हो ही रहे थे. But उसके बाद due to like 66 marks, 65 marks, you do not qualify. And then the attempt is gone. And it hurts because we have prepared for GS, we've prepared for mains, essay, optional. And CSAT, we prepared only for 70 marks. We attempted for 70 marks. So ideally, our approach is instead of preparing and attempting 70 marks, you should try to get 90, 100. When we get 90, 100, we have a guarantee paper clear ho raha hai. And then it allows you to start working for your mains. Then CSAT is no longer a bottleneck. So please make sure that we are not preparing for 70. And of course, I'm weak in maths. Easy, low-hanging fruits in maths. For example, this question we just saw. 50,000 per month, 20% of the men. 50,000 per month was just a reference. But when we look at this question, there is a very high chance हम देखेंगे इतने सारे नंबर लिखे हैं, मुश्किल होगा, तो it's tough. But when you start actually understanding a problem, you will see 50,000 per month was a direct instance. It was just a reference. Let's say kilometers. It was just a reference. So the numbers were there also to make it look difficult for you. So for those of us who are guided by I am weak in maths, this is not just a paper of maths, but also aptitude. There are questions which can be solved with by looking at the numbers. Okay? And this is the reason why we are going to solve few questions to understand कि these are from 2025, this year's paper. to understand how do we solve them and what our approach should be. Okay? Do you have any questions so far? Oh. Let's try to solve this question. Please solve this question. It's best to use pen and paper. What is x in the sequence? 24, x, 12, 18, 36, 90. Okay, we'll first solve. Let everyone solve. A, B, C, D. What is your answer? 6. D6. Okay. And how many for A18? A18? अच्छा किससे नहीं हुआ? Okay. So काफी लोग से नहीं हुआ और जिनसे हुआ the option is between B12 and D6. So this is a very common kind of question that UPSC has been asking across papers. Even in this year, there were 2 questions from the same series. Now 24, x, 12, 18, 36, 90. We have to find the digit x. When we look at this, do you see that the values were first decreasing and then they were increasing? They were first decreasing, then they suddenly started increasing. Yes? However, since it is a series, there is definitely some pattern. Problem, हमें pattern नहीं पता है, but कुछ तो है. So what we do is, we try to recognize a pattern. In this, can we see that 18 2s are 36? This is, I'm sure we all know. So, if I say 24, x, 12, 18, 36 and 90. So over here I know it is into 2. 18 2s are 36. But there has to be some correlation between 36 and 90. 1.5. So 2.5. So if I divide 90 by 36, कुछ तो होगा. 18 2s are 36 है. So 36 multiplied by something will be 90. So I'll do a 90 by 36. Yes. So simple. Ten by 4. 2.5. So okay. So this seems it is multiplied by 2.5. It seems to be forming a pattern into 2 into 2.5. तो हो सकता है कि पीछे की तरफ it is -0.5. कम कर देंगे 2 में से. Yes. So 12 and 18, how are they linked? 12 into 1.5. 12 plus 6. 12 plus 6. So this was 12 into 1.5. How did we find this? We started by observing कि numbers पहले गिरे and then they are increasing and they are increasing with a very big difference between numbers as they go forward. पहले it was a difference of only 6. The difference became 18. The difference increased considerably. So the difference is also not constant. So it's a multiplication. Simple observation. मगर ये easy था. 18 into 2 is 36. This was the starting point. So we're able to see, okay, into 2.5, into 2, into 0.5, 1.5. What should this be? Into 1. And this should be into 0.5. 0.5 is half. 24 ka half is 12. 12 into 1 is also 12. Hence, the answer was D. Hence the answer was B, 12. Yes, and how did we start? By not thinking कि ये तो कुछ numbers तो लिखे हैं, but it's not clear, but rather just observing कि कुछ तो pattern बन रहा होगा. अगर question पूछा है तो कुछ तो बन ही रहा होगा. But let's try to find what is the pattern. And the pattern was right there between 18 and 36. The minute we figured 18 and 36, we could start working our way from there. I hope it is good. Yes? And this is like extra this is now 2.5 marks in the exam. Finding this was 2.5 marks, one question. I have another question for you. Based on a simple formula, speed equal to distance upon train. Again, you will see that how 2025 paper uses the same formulae, but it uses them with a little more analysis. Across papers, analysis is increasing, be it prelims or mains or essay. So, the question, a train overtakes two persons. So, there are two people, X and Y. It overtakes two persons at an average speed. X is moving at a speed of 3 kilometers per hour. Y is moving at a speed of 4 kilometers per hour in the same direction and completely passes them in 8 seconds and in 9 seconds. What is the length of the train? Don't speak your answer. What is the length of the train? There is a train which passes a person X and a person Y who were moving at 3 kilometers per hour and 4 kilometers per hour. Simple formula, speed equal to distance upon train. What we don't know, what we are supposed to find is the length of the train. Length of the train. So what do we assume? Speed equal to distance upon time. Speed to train ka same hi rahega. Yes? So distance upon time. Fine. Assume speed of the train is something. Let's say S. A train overtakes two persons, X and Y. Speed of X, 3 kilometers. Speed of Y, 4 kilometers per hour. Hint, if the speed of train was S, let us say the speed of train is S. This is the train. Just assume it's a train. If the speed of this train is S, so the relative speed will be S minus 3. So S minus 3 equal to distance upon time. S minus 4 equal to distance upon time. Find the distance. Two variables, speed and distance. Two equations. Yes? Try at least. Write down. Don't give up. So this is what happens. You should not give up. Write it at least. Correct. What's the distance? Correct. Speed equal to distance upon time. Units. Speed equal to distance upon time. Please be mindful of the units. So what we do, how many of you have answer as option A? Option C, 20 meters. Okay. So we have one for 20 meters. Option A. Option C, 20 meters. Option A. A. किसी का नहीं आया? Option B, 18 meters. Okay, how many of you could not solve? Few of most of us. See, this also tells us again. Let's try to solve it together. Some of us have option D, 2-3 of us. But let's see ये answer कैसे आएगा. So what we are given is speed. We all know one thing for a fact: speed equal to distance upon time. ये सबको पता है? Yes. So we have speed equal to distance upon time. Speed equal to distance upon time. Speed equal to distance upon time. Now based on this, ना तो हमें ट्रेन की स्पीड पता है, ना ट्रेन का लेंथ पता है. So if I have this as a train which is going at a speed of s, we have to assume ना speed ट्रेन की क्या है s. And there is this person it is going to cross. There is this person it is going to cross at this point. Okay. This person is also moving at some speed. This speed is 3 for x and 4 for y. It is 3 for x, 4 for y. If I ask this person to stop, तो ऐसा लगेगा कि speed, since they're both moving in the same direction, they're both moving in the same direction. Since they're both moving in the same direction, so what is the relative speed? अगर एक person चल रहा है, पीछे से ट्रेन भी आ रही है, the person stops, so we'll assume ट्रेन की भी स्पीड उतने से कम हो गई. Yes. So we have assumed the speed of the train to be s. The speed of the person is given to be 3, and let's assume the length is l. क्या यहाँ तक clear है? Yes, no, maybe. If it's a no, you can tell me it's a no. अगर दो लोग थे, जब ट्री खड़ा है, तो ट्री को हम अगर 3 किलोमीटर पर स्पीड से आगे जा रहे थे, तो ट्री को भी यही लग रहा है 3 किलोमीटर से आगे जा रहे हैं, because tree is standing. But if the tree was also moving, let's say tree was a car. एक कार रेस कर रही है 100 किलोमीटर पर आवर पे. Easier, 100 किलोमीटर पर आवर पे आगे भाग रही है, दूसरी 80 किलोमीटर पर भाग रही है. दोनों के बीच में relative speed क्या है? Difference 20. Same is happening here. Speed of the train was something, but the person was at 3 kilometers per hour. Abhi clear? Yes. So can I say that s minus 3, the relative speed, is equal to the length of the train? Cross कर रहे हैं in how much time? 8 seconds. 8 seconds. But it is 8 seconds. And the unit of speed was kilometers. So in 1 hour, how many seconds do we have? 3600. 3600 seconds. So into 3600, ठीक है? 8 divided by 3600. Yes. So this is equation number 1. Two variables, S and L. We have two equations. S minus 4 equal to, again the length of the train, नहीं पता है, L upon 9 into 3600. Correct? I hope यहाँ तक सब clear है? Yes? Everybody is with me till here? Now after this, we also know that if we have two equations, A plus B equal to C, and if we have two equations, X plus Y equal to some number N, and similarly we have X minus Y or X plus Y equal to M. So what we do is we subtract them. अगर दो equations हैं, same variable दिखाई दे रहा है, तो हम इनको subtract कर देते हैं. If I subtract, what is the outcome? A minus B times X, y gets cancelled, plus y minus y, and it's equal to n minus m. Are we clear? ये सबको पता है? ये सबको पता है? Okay. So we do the same thing here. S और S तो common था और S चाहिए भी नहीं. We don't need the speed of the train. We need the length. So can I subtract these two equations here itself? So I do it becomes minus S plus 4 minus L by 9. Are you with me? Yes? सबको ना? Huh? Right? S minus S is equal to 0. 3 minus 3 plus 4 is 1. So 1 equal to L by 8 into 3600 minus L by 9 into 3600. Can you solve it? Please solve. L by 8 into 3600 minus L by 9 into 3600. Please solve this. What is L? 1 by 50. But that is 1 by 50 kilometers. How many meters? 1 by 50 kilometers is 1000 by 50. What is 1000 by 50 now? 20. So this is why I told you to solve. We don't give up. Yes? So all that we had to know was, since two people, the train was moving and so was the person over here, we had to subtract their speed because they were in the same direction. If they were in the opposite direction, we would add their speed. Because now they're approaching each other with increased speed. Yes? I hope it is clear. Sabko clear hai? Were you able to get 1 by 50? It is 72 by 3600. You get 72 divided by 3600. Yes. And then that is 1 by 50. I hope हुआ क्या सबसे? Yes. So this was speed, time and distance, but UPSC did not ask a direct question. It asked the application of speed, time and distance. Speed equal to, formula वही था. Basic formula लगना था. Speed equal to distance upon time, but two problems. One, we needed conceptual clarity of relative speed. And second, we had to decide not to give up. We had to decide not to give up. This is a reasoning question. Let's see. Again, low-hanging fruit. Basic question. We all know relationships. Let's think of an answer. I'll give you just 1 minute. In the exam, technically we have 2.5 minutes. How many of you got option as A? Only 2. Only 2? No one. Okay. Only 3. Only 3. Okay. Only 4. Lot of us. Only 5. Only 5. And who could not solve? Who could not solve? That's also okay. You know? Okay. So let's try to solve this together. P is the brother of Q. So we are going to mark brother means a male, and we are going to mark a male as square and a female as circle. Okay. Male as square and female as circle. Okay. Woman is a circle. So P is the brother of Q and R. This means Q, R, and P, who is the brother, they are at the same level of hierarchy. I'm going to show hierarchy by drawing them at different levels. Okay, parents come at a level above, children at a level below, grandparents 2 levels above. So P is the brother of Q and R. They're all at the same level, brother of Q and R. S is R's mother. If S was R's mother, it means she is also the mother of P and Q. T is P's father. This is also where divorces don't happen. It's all single marriage. So if T is P's father, he's also the father for Q and R, right? Basic Q and R. How many of the following statements are definitely true? S and T are couple. Can we say S and T are couple? Yes. Q is T's son. Can we say Q is a son? We can't say. We don't know the gender of Q, whether it's a son or a daughter. So second statement is wrong. T is Q's father. Yes? Because T is a square, so he's a father. S is P's mother. S is P's mother. Yes? R is T's daughter. No. Because we have neither a circle nor a square on R. P is S's son. Yes. So how many ticks do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the answer is only 4. C. I hope you understood your mistake where it went wrong. Yes? So this. We'll solve one more question, but first we'll look at RC, reading comprehension. Any questions? No. First we'll look at RC and see that how do we solve reading comprehension. It's important to practice CSAT and understand what is being asked to know what our strategy will be. Okay? There has been no democracy that has grown economically without corporate capitalism. This is the question. Question number 5. There has been, with 4 options. Please read the question, the passage and answer. The passage says, which one of the following statements? So, there is 2 ways of doing RC. One is you read the passage and then you read the question. Second, you already read the question so that you know in what perspective you have to read the passage. So we have to recognize the critical message conveyed by the author of the passage. Critical message conveyed by the author of the passage. There has been no democracy that has grown economically without corporate capitalism. It helps in modernizing the economy and enabling the transition from rural to urban, agriculture to industry, and services, which are inevitable with growth. It generates jobs, and there is no other way to fix a country's unemployment challenge without a further impetus to private business. Big companies can operate in a large scale and become competitive, both domestically and externally. A vibrant corporate capitalist base. So the topic, the passage is on corporate capitalism. We know that for now because it starts with corporate capitalism. So a vibrant corporate capitalist base also leads to additional revenues for the state, which in turn can be used for greater welfare for the marginalized and creating a more level playing field in terms of opportunities. A more level playing field in terms of opportunities. Critical message. Read the passage again and think of your answer. Don't say. Think of your answer. What is it? A, B, C, or D? Please read. So there were 3 advantages of corporate capitalism written. I've ticked those for ease of convenience. Everyone's thought of their answer? How many of you feel the option is A? Only 3, 4. Reluctant 5, 6. Okay. So I'll say 6 of us feel that the answer is A. Corporate capitalism is imperative for a modern state to achieve its political objectives. B. B. Okay. B? Two of us. 2 of us feel it is B. No state can ensure its economic survival for long without the role of corporate capitalism. No state can ensure its economic survival for long without the role of corporate capitalism. Any takers for C? 2 of us again. Corporate capitalism and democracy have mutual dependence for their continued existence. And last seats? No answer? No answer? D? Okay. So let's take a look at the passage again and see how do we solve these. Now in passage-based questions, in verbal ability, it is very important that we don't bring our own understanding. Passage is saying something, we understand it for what it is saying. Okay. Over here, the passage we have recognized is talking about corporate capitalism. The first statement itself tells us there has been no democracy that has grown economically without corporate capitalism. No democracy that has grown without corporate capitalism. And then I have taken 3 advantages which were given. First, it helps in modernizing the economy. So, let's just erase these. Okay. So, first advantage, it helps in modernizing the economy and enabling the transition. Modernizing economy means rural to urban, agriculture to industry and services, which are inevitable with growth. So first advantage, modernizing the economy. Second, it generates jobs. And there is no other way to fix a country's unemployment challenge without a further impetus to private business. So how is it generating jobs? By giving impetus to private business? Not important, but okay, understood. Obvious. Big companies can operate on a large scale, become competitive both domestically and externally. Okay. Next, a vibrant corporate capitalist base also leads to additional revenue. It also leads to additional revenue for the state, which in turn can be used for greater welfare for the marginalized, something, creating a more level playing field. ठीक है? तो basically, economy modernize हो गई, jobs बन गई, and state को ज़्यादा revenue मिल गया. 3 advantages. Now, let's take a look at options. First, we'll eliminate. Okay, let's take a look at option number 2. Corporate capitalism is imperative. necessary for a modern state to achieve its political objectives? Has there been any discussion about a political objective? No. It's telling us about the advantages of corporate capitalism. And 3 advantages were given. So it is not B. Let's read statement number C. No state can ensure its economic survival. What the question said was it has grown economically, but it does not say कि आप मर जाओगे. Yes, this is an extreme statement. It's economic survival for long without the role of corporate capitalism. It does not say that the states will not survive. It just says that it is helpful for states. So second again becomes an extreme statement. I hope everyone's understanding. So second is also, C is also wrong. Because the passage is not saying that. Next, corporate capitalism and democracy have mutual dependence for their continued existence. It does talk about democracy, but that is the only statement about democracy, that there has been no democracy that has grown economically. Democracy ka iklauta is not economic growth. It's also a political system, government of the people, by the people, for the people. So, and democracy have mutual dependence. How democracy is helpful for corporate capitalism was not there in the passage. Mutual dependence means it's a two-way street. So, D also gets eliminated. Now, what is the option? A. Corporate capitalism is important. This is what the first statement says. Corporate capitalism is important for economic growth of a state and democracy. How was it important for a democracy? Last line. Welfare for all. So, what is the answer now? A. So, what went wrong? That in our answers, while thinking, there was an assumption. Since it's talking about democracy, it's talking about a political objective. Second possibility was, since it has mentioned democracy, it means they cannot exist one without the other. We will have to have more focus and read every word clearly. It is not talking about survival. So what we also see is extreme statements cannot survive. Definitely passage is not saying that. They cannot survive without each other. Both are necessary for each other. ये कुछ नहीं बोला passage ने. These are extreme statements. And hence, what is the answer? The right answer is A. A is the right answer. I hope you all understood what are the mistakes that we were making or why we made them. And the right answer is A. So, before this, one question is left. I have one more maths question again. Maths question. Please solve it. The question reads, the petrol prices shot up by 10% as a result of the hike in crude oil prices. The petrol prices shot up by 10% as a result of the hike in crude oil prices. The price of petrol before the hike was 90 rupees. A person travels 2200 kilometers every month and his car gives a mileage of 16 kilometers per liter. By how many kilometers? पेट्रोल महंगा हुआ है तो कम डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल करना पड़ेगा अगर खर्चा सेम रखना है. So by how many kilometers should he reduce his travel if he wants to maintain his expenditure at the previous level? How many kilometers should he travel if he wants to maintain his expenditure at the previous level? $180 kilometers, 200 kilometers, 220 kilometers, or 240 kilometers. Try. कुछ महंगा होगा तो कम खर्चा करना पड़ेगा ना, कम डिस्टेंस जाना पड़ेगा टू मेंटेन योर एक्सपेंडिचर. Try. Good. कंजम्पशन, बट कंजम्पशन तो पता ही नहीं थी. डिस्टेंस, डिस्टेंस, कंजम्पशन नहीं, डिस्टेंस. यस, यस. So it is a weak area. How many of you have option A, 180 kilometers? 180. Two of us. 200 kilometers. 5. 220 kilometers. 220. No one. आपका क्या आया है? अभी नहीं हुआ. आपका 200. 220. So 220. Anyone else 220? And your answer? अभी नहीं हुआ. Okay. Yet work in progress. Answer is work in progress. 240 kilometers. अच्छा, किसका नहीं हुआ? Okay. Few of us are work in progress. Okay. So, let's discuss this. The petrol prices shot up by 10%. So, if the price was 90 rupees, let's write this as old price, P old. This is 90. So, what is P new? It is 10% increase. What will it be? 99? ये तो सबको clear है. It is 99. It is 90 plus 10% of 90, which is 9. 90 plus 9 equal to 99. Next, we also know that he travels 2200 kilometers every month. So a person travels in this price, he travels 2200 kilometers every month, and his car gives a mileage of 16 kilometers per liter. So if we solve it step by step, 16 kilometers per liter. अगर 16 kilometers per 1 liter है, तो 2200 किलोमीटर्स के लिए कितना लीटर चाहिए? सॉरी, 137.5. So if it was, it is 16 kilometers per liter. So we need 137.5 liters. Yes. But I want to maintain my expenditure. So what is the expenditure right now? Expenditure, let's write it, expenditure old equal to 137.5 into 90 rupees. Yes, this is the expenditure old. Expenditure new has to be the same, new expenditure. So this is also equal to expenditure new. I'm not calculating, we'll calculate it in one go, but this is expenditure new, which is 137.5 into 90. But we don't know how many liters are we buying now. So, but what is new expenditure? We don't know how many liters. Liters new. अभी कितना खरीद सकते थे? Into the new price, right? What is new price? 99. So, this means 137.5 into 90 equal to new liters into 99. Please solve it. 1375 divided by 11. 1375 divided by 11. This is your answer. Sorry? $125 liters. Yes. So now I can buy 125 liters and I could travel 16 kilometers per liter. And I have 125 liters. How much distance can I travel? I have 125 लीटर तेल है, 16 किलोमीटर एक लीटर पे जाएंगे, तो 125 लीटर पे कितना जाएंगे? 125 इंटू 16 कितना होता है? करो, 125 इंटू 16 2000. 125 into 16, 125 into 16, 125 liters into 16 is equal to 2000. Means now he has petrol only enough to go 2000 kilometers. Originally he was going 2200 kilometers. He has to decrease his distance by how much? 200. 2200 minus 2000. Okay, so it is 200 kilometers. Is this clear to everyone? So we calculated what is the amount of petrol that he has, that he can buy. That he needed. 90 rupees pe ja rahe the. 2200 kilometers he travels every month, which means at 16 kilometers per liter, he was also using 137.5 liters. Correct? From this 137.5 liters, we found out the total amount of money he is paying. 137.5 into 90 is the amount of money he is paying. पैसा नहीं बढ़ाना है, inflation हुआ है सिर्फ. You know, there's been an inflation in price from 90 rupees to 99 rupees. So he will have to cut down his zone distance. How much does he cut down? So we maintain this price. This cost, he will pay this much only. It is new liters that he can buy into 99. तो अभी सेम रुपए में कितने लीटर खरीद पा रहा है वो? Instead of 137.5, he is able to buy 125. I hope everyone's with me. 125 liters. अभी 125 लीटर हैं और 16 किलोमीटर 1 लीटर पे चलते हैं, तो टोटल कितना डिस्टेंस जाएंगे? 125 into 16, which is equal to 2000. Earlier, a person's going 2200. Now he is going 2000. So he has to decrease his distance by 200. But this is a very long way of calculation. Let's look at another method. One thing which is very clear to us is he has to keep his expense the same. Expense the same, okay? So what is an expense for him? What is the expense? Expense is equal to price of petrol into distance by mileage. Okay, into distance by mileage. अब mileage तो same ही था, तो expense जब same होगा तो mileage cancel हो जाएगा, तो price into distance has to be same. I hope everyone's understanding. Price into distance has to be constant, क्योंकि mileage गाड़ी का same है, तो price into distance. So this means price old into distance old equal to price new into distance new. What is P old? 90. What is distance old? 2200. Am I right? 2200. P old is 90. Distance old is 2200. What is new price? 99 into, let's assume distance abhi calculate karna hai. From the previous we know it is what? Calculate it now. करो, फिर से करते हैं. $2,000. Direct answer. So this is an extra information which is needed, which is given to us. उसके बिना भी हो रहा है क्योंकि expense same रखना है. तो price into distance is equal to price into distance. These are the only two variables. And the minute you calculate the new distance, it comes out to be 2000. What is the answer? 200. Not clear? Not clear? हो गया नहीं हुआ? Okay, because see why this happened, because the mileage is the same. So mileage was at the base. Since it is the same, it got cancelled, right? So price into distance had to be constant. And therefore, this is the answer. We can also do this as a formula where we say that when the price increases by X%, when the price increases by X, so three methods. First was a long method, but it ensures that there is no mistake happening. थोड़ा time लगेगा, but अगर और questions नहीं हो रहे हैं, तो then this is how we solve. Yes. So third way of solving it, we say that the price increased by X%. So the distance will reduce by X upon 100 plus X into distance old. It is the same thing actually, but if you want to learn a formula, है ना, formula याद करना है तो this is the formula also. Price increases by X%, consumption remaining the same, the expenditure remaining the same. How do you find the new consumption? This. So if you plug in the values, it is same 90 upon 99. Okay, into old distance 2200. ठीक है? Yes. So again we see that this is why CSAT has been challenging. Now the problem why questions are challenging is because first we have to be familiar with the question. Speed, time, distance, we were familiar, but there was further analysis needed to understand that when a person is standing and the train's moving in the same direction, what happens? If the direction of the train, we are moving in the direction of the train, opposite direction, the speed gets added up. You know, basic concepts. So we have to be familiar from which topic as soon as you read them. You have to know कि question आया कहाँ से, and the formula or the methodology or the concept has to come to us. At the same time, questions have become lengthier, as we just saw. Comprehension, very close options, easy to get confused. At the same time, even in RC, even in maths, the questions were lengthier. They required some calculation, and they're interlinked with other topics which requires conceptual clarity. For example, there was a question on calendar mixed together with number system. What is the day on 10 raised to power 10 days? After 10 raised to power 10 days, you know. So there is a problem of where calendars and number system, different topics come together to form a question, requiring core understanding. So CSAT will boil down to how we revise and what is the exam strategy and clarity with which we approach. And the focus should always be on conceptual clarity. For example, you know, there is a common question which is asked. कि कौन सी बुक करें. हाउ मेनी, मोस्ट ऑफ अस विल हैव कौन सी बुक करें मैथ्स के लिए, है ना? यस. So few of us feel PYQ करते हैं, but PYQ में problem है, we do not clear our concepts and it does not cover everything. There can be new questions. We say that let's do a CSAT manual and standard book, but standard book like let's say R.S. Agarwal does not cover all parts of the paper. If you approach 6th to 10th NCERT or ICSE, it has only traditional topics. Only traditional topics, the others are not there. And the difficulty of the exam has increased beyond basic NCERT, as we just saw. Then YouTube channel पे भी बहुत videos मिल जाते हैं. YouTube channel is an unstructured answer, but unstructured approach, but it is unstructured. You will find videos, you will find content, but it is unstructured. CSAT requires consistent practice. So instead, what we will do is we can prepare with the help of classes itself. But within classes, we will be taking almost one topic, 1 or 2 topics, depending on the topic itself in every class. We have more than 45 classes of 2 hours each, divided into quant, reading comprehension, and logical reasoning. And apart from classes, the classes will be hands-on with exercise where you practice from easy to difficult, along with assignments which will have questions, few which we attempt in the class and few which you go home and attempt. Regular practice, some practice at home, some practice in the class, and then writing tests as well as PYQ discussion ensures that your concepts are clear. Agar abhi bhi concept rehte hain, so you can always reach out to me and we will be able to discuss. Yes? And what is needed apart from classes is practice and revision from your end. So only then speed and accuracy happens. Speed and accuracy does not happen in one day. It requires your practice of questions. So you will remember time, speed, distance today. You will remember that if the train is coming in the same direction, we subtract. But maybe you forget it later. So it's going to be very important that you revise the basics, very, very basics, and apply it across questions. So we're just discussing strategy. The next thing that we should do is when we revise, we should recognize what are our strong areas. For example, a lot of us could get our blood relations correct. Yes? But within blood relations, there will be many type of questions. It could be a family tree, coded relation, indirect question, or arrangement based. Ki the brother is sitting next to the sister, this happens, that happens, It could be arrangement based. So you will have to know where to stop. What is it that you are comfortable in? And this will happen only when you practice. You will be able to recognize the low hanging fruits. Because the aim is not to score 150, but to score 100 so that you are definitely qualifying. Okay? So this again happens with practice. And एक और प्रॉब्लम होती है कि हम ईगो पे बहुत लेते हैं अपने क्वेश्चंस, where we say that ये topic was my comfort zone. I knew this topic. How is it possible that I can't solve this question? Be it the exam hall, I will move to the next question only when I have solved it. Yes? So if that is happening, your aim, just like all other exams, was not to make sure that you are solving every single question, but the objective is qualifying. Just like prelims, qualify karna hai. GS. So you should know when to stop. You should know that question nahi ho raha hai, end mein aa jayenge, but abhi nahi kar rahe. You can put a mark, you can put something, but come on that question later, not then and there. Last but not the least, बिल्कुल आपको लग रहा है कि you look at your questions you've not been able to solve. We can also solve by options because options are given in the paper. So a lot of questions can be solved by options and observation. But that is plan B, not plan A. For a lot of us, this becomes plan A कि paper में options तो लिखी हैं, उसी से हो जाएगा. But options are very close to each other. they're also made assuming the examiner also knows कि कहाँ गलत हो गए. That is why a lot of us had wrong answers today. So the examiner knows where all you will go wrong. So this is but plan B, used for elimination and then finding the right answer. So, there are always three kinds of questions: easy, possible, and very difficult to be left. Very difficult to be left, you already knew कि ये तो देख के ही मुश्किल है. You leave it then and there. We do the easy and the possible from all three sections. We do not leave any section and any topic because there are low-hanging fruits across different topics. Also, as a part of strategy, there are a few topics which are very easy, which keep getting repeated. Although permutation and combination was not there in 2025, but nonetheless, it still was very high weightage until 2024. Number system, coding, decoding, 3-4 questions last year. Data arrangement, time and work, permutation, combination, they all keep giving us questions. So maybe we solve low-hanging fruits, topics from which questions come more often, and of course, we still do all the others also. It's important to understand our strengths so that we approach. One last question that few of us have asked is, कितने level का CSAT करें कि paper clear हो जाएगा? Because of course the objective is to qualify. Now my answer is that when you look at this paper, it is not SSC banking. Because SSC banking checks your calculation. It will require good calculative ability. So SSC banking not happening, it requires calculation. Other UPSC, the difficulty level is not the same because they may have probability, but then they will not have other aspects. So other UPSC के लिए पढ़ेंगे तो it is again not CSAT. You may want to prepare CAT level or GMAT level, but CAT level is what we forget is CSAT is only qualifying. So if you're preparing CAT level maths, that was speed maths also, and then we are spending too much time because CAT questions are more tough, and more than tough, they're also speed. But हमारे लिए तो it is qualifying. We do not have to score full on full. We only have to score 90, 100 to make sure we are qualifying. So, CAT level, thoda sa, it can, after you prepare for CSAT, we prepare for CAT. If you want to prepare for CAT, but not because CSAT मुश्किल था तो चलो CAT की तैयारी करते हैं. Tell me. Yes. Is the syllabus same? Yes. But CAT is comparatively tougher. And also CAT के अंदर marks जुड़ रहे थे. CSAT में marks are not being counted, so we also do not prepare for that high level of exam. Yes? Because then we are not focusing, that amount of time should have gone to GS. If your GS was ready, it should have gone to mains. It should have gone to essay, but optional. But maybe not CSAT because CSAT was qualifying. So you have to prepare for CSAT. Okay? And preparing for CSAT will help you in preparing for other examinations. This is what I would recommend doing for CSAT, where you have practiced, you know your approach, you know your strategy across different sections, you recognize your strong area and weak area. किसी के लिए, some will feel my English is strong, so I can qualify CSAT. But despite English, you will still need other sections. Some feel maths बहुत अच्छा है, तब हो जाएगा. But then you also need reasoning and reading comprehension. So this exam will require a mix of all three, and you will be able to recognize your strong area and weak area. Once you know your strong and weak areas, within each subject as in within quant, you will know कि मेरा क्या अच्छा है और क्या कम अच्छा है. So that if a question comes, and bare minimum, you should have confidence that easy questions, just because it was probability, I did not see it and was fearful of it. There are times where the questions have been very easy, but we left them सोच देख के कि अरे probability तो probability है, maths नहीं करना. Yes, that is what we should not do. So the aim is that we should have comfort, clarity, and concepts across all topics so that we can address CSAT from the very basic. Again, because CSAT is a game of mindset. It is the mindset which helps you understand that if you choose the questions wisely, you'll be able to qualify. It is all about finding the right questions and marking them calmly and comfortably. I hope you've understood. Yes? Do you have any questions? So we have 45 classes, 45 plus classes. After every few classes, 5-6 classes, we'll do a PYQ discussion class, which ensures that all the concepts that you applied, there'll be handouts which will have PYQ topics, questions from PYQs for all the years, so that you can solve them together as well as later. Okay? So after every 5 to 6 classes, we will have PYQ discussion classes. One PYQ discussion for every 5-6 units, subtopics. Each class will have its own handouts with class assignment as well as home assignment. Then you have sectional tests and full-length practice test. I think 9 sectional tests and 3 full-length. Yes? After this, if you still have any doubts, you can always ask questions during the class, before the class, after the class. If you still have doubts, we will also be available for mentorship. Taking your doubts one-on-one, addressing your strategy, what works for you and does not work for you. Okay? Now, do you have any doubt, any concern regarding CSAT, regarding classes, regarding how to approach, how to prepare? Yes. 2 hours. 2 hours, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. So roughly 15 weeks. By mid of January, start of January, the course will end. This is a question even I am not sure about. Okay. Anything else? Tell me. 5 to 7 p.m. So the classes will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. 2 hours. There is a detailed schedule also available with the brochure. We'll be following the schedule throughout. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We start with logical reasoning, and then we do reading comprehension and quant. Why logical reasoning first instead of quantitative aptitude? So that our understanding sets in. So that we're able to understand our logical reasoning. It's basic aptitude. Once we start analyzing things and we get into a comfort zone, is when we also go towards quantitative aptitude, the maths part. Yes. Anything else? Aap kuch kahe? Yes, it's available both online and offline. Yes. It's available in hybrid mode. Anything else? Yes, you can. You'll be able to discuss with me as well as other mentors in mentorship. Anything else? So the classes will be very hands-on. I expect participation. I expect you to interact, solve questions. And if you're solving questions in the class, ideally all your doubts will get cleared. But most important is we do not give up. A lot of us give up. When we look at maths questions, we say, bas ho gaya, ab nahi karna hai. And that is something which we should not do. Because you never know when the question was very easy. It was just one step away. It was just one step away. So, do not give up and try to solve in the class itself. Anything else? No? Okay. So, that's it. Thank you for coming. Thank you. All the best.